Hello and welcome to Simulacra Studios presents Aeon, Trinity Continuum Aeon, Lunar Rocks. I am your story guide, Scott, and we're going to go ahead and bring on our lovely players. Hello, players.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi.
As you can tell by the red X's on the screen, we are down two players, unfortunately. One was planned, one was not, but we'll roll with it. Long and the short of it, that means we're going to have a slightly shorter session. Don't know exactly how long. But let's go ahead and introduce our fellow players and the characters that they are playing. Let's start with Frankie. Who are you and what's up?
Hi. I play Frankie. You can call me Diane. Uh, Frankie is a gangster princess rock star.
Fantastic. Let's throw it all on the stack. And then Murphy. Hi there.
Hey. Hey, I'm Murphy. I'm playing a character named Hannah. We are kind of the opposite of Frankie, though pretty good friends. Just recently discovered we have some psychic powers and are very upset about that.
Oh no. All right. So when last we left these young rambunctious heroes in a sci-fi world, they had just attended a fairly monumentous Muzian Bang show in the docking zone of Olympus on the moon. Uh, there was some meet and greets, some tussles with some fascists, and Hannah awoken to her psychic powers. A lot of questions hanging in the air. There was a rush to get out of the area to get into the public transit system, in which your friend and companion, Mycelian, got separated and went onto a different train than the two of you. Um, uh, Narwhal got onto the train with you, but quickly got a message from one of his shady contacts that he kind of was a little circumspect about who exactly he was talking to, but got off at a stop before the two of you. So he is out in the world, and you are not quite certain where either of them are. You can probably maintain connection through the OpNet, but we'll sort that out as we sort it out. So, where are the two of you headed? I'm assuming you guys both have your own separate living conditions. Do you guys have like a shared crash pad, or where do you live on the moon in these lower sections of the Olympus City?
I mean, I'm totally fine with a roommate situation if you want. I imagine you
Yeah.
probably have a palatial place to go back to anytime you want. So,
Yeah, when I'm on the outs with my dad right now, so having a
you want to say
crash
you're
pad
crashing
would
with
be
me?
great. Yeah, oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay, so the two of you are Frankie is currently crashing with Hannah. So what does this look like? I mean, there's a lot of different options. You know, there are kind of uh, apartment complexes that are kind of closer to the surface of the moon, some of which extend above the surface of the moon, kind of in the downside area. The lower you get, the more spread out and weirdly constructed they are, because in the early days of lunar colonization, the prime territory was below the surface of the moon. Because it kept out radiation and micrometeor and meteor impacts. But when radiation shielding technology improved, all the rich people moved up, and all the poor people had to kind of subdivide the various uh, subdivisions and mansions that existed below the surface.
I probably gravitated to a weird rundown tenement, but like a weirdly constructed space,
Mm-hmm.
because you know,
Mm-hmm. So
it's
yeah, so it's kind of
old and weird, and I can make it my own.
cool. Yeah, so it's half of a squatter, half of a uh,
Mhm.
reprovision tenement zone. Um, uh,
And
are there other people around you? Like, is this part of a community, or have you
um,
found a place that's kind of off by its own?
I think I would probably be next to like a performance art or installation art space, and I'm in
Mm-hmm.
one of the weird kind of storeroom places that was just partitioned off to be rented out.
Mm-hmm.
So there's probably like a few neighbors, but nothing. It's probably pretty quiet here, and that's kind of what I imagine, someplace almost warehouse districty.
Okay, so warehouse district. So there are people around, but it's not a
I don't know my
tightly.
neighbors.
Yeah, gotcha. Cool. I love it. All right,
And I
so
imagine my place is probably kind of junky, but because Frankie's here, it's getting a little glammed up over time.
slowly accreting decorations
Oh
and
yeah,
comforts.
Frankie is definitely. You come back and be like, she's replaced all your lights with like twinkle lights, and you're just like, where did you put the light bulbs? I'm like, I don't know. I put them over there.
Did
They're
you
just
hawk my
gone
light bulbs? I need overhead light to read.
now.
Oh no.
Just stuff like that. She also probably, you came back one day and your nice wall that you had set up perfectly and like
Mhm.
repainted it, you were going to do something with it, is like plastered haphazardly with band posters everywhere and like different art pieces where she's just shellacked art to the wall.
I mean, it does look better, but come on, man.
Okay, so this is where we return to in the wee hours of the late night, early morning. Although those terms mean different things on the moon, it's really more about like I mean, there is a night and a day here, but it's weird because the time clock is still roughly associated with the Earth time, and it's liminal. Everything it's usually very liminal. The time doesn't exactly sync up perfectly to what we consider night and day here. Um, so yeah, so you guys, the sliding door, automatic sliding door slides open, and the two of you stumble in to the room.
Yeah, so fuck it. I'll go grab. I steal one of your drinks, one of your beers.
It's fair. I'd probably drink too if I were you.
You drink if you're you.
I mean, that's also fair, but I mean, look, that's some heavy shit you got in there.
I guess. I mean, all right. You seem to have more of an opinion about what's happening, so feel free to
Other
clue
than
me
it's
in.
utterly fucking cool. So,
I mean,
like,
it.
okay. She kind of like leans in and she like puts her hands together. So it's totally fucking cool. I've only heard rumors, right? That people actually can like spontaneously be syads. Like it's a rumor. No one's ever seen it before. People have been like trying to figure out if it's true or not because we all think it's like being controlled by like, big corps and shit like that are like trying to make syads. So having someone naturally be born that, I mean,
All right. So
that's
you're saying.
huge.
So you don't think I was somehow abducted and experimented upon at some point?
No, don't take this the wrong way, Hannah, but you're too boring for that.
I won't take that the wrong way, and I hope you're right.
No, I just think you're super fucking rad and have a fucking gift, and I'm super fucking jealous.
Scott, would I ever have heard of Syads at all as a thing?
You would definitely have heard of scions.
Yes, of course, but
Scions
just
are very public.
yeah. But as far
Syad,
as
go ahead. Let's see. Give me a humanities roll.
I imagine this would probably be intellect humanities.
Sure. Yeah, that works. Generally, I'm going to ask for the skill,
Right.
and you can. There probably will be an attribute that makes sense, but you can always try and pitch me on something else.
Yeah. No successes.
No successes. Yeah, no. The term Syad, like I will say for both of you, Syad is not a term that is known or used.
Oh,
Like when
okay.
the term for Psy user is Scion.
Okay, then
Like
she would
Syad,
say scion.
there are people who know the term Syad, but they're not you, and they're not the people at large. And you may or may not have any ability to contact them. But just yeah, the term that you know, Frankie, from your group, is the term that they've been using, for lack of a better term, is natural psionics.
Natural psionics. Okay.
I will quickly ask internally ask my agent to look that up.
Okay. Um, it says, all right, I'll do some collation and I'll get back to you within a few minutes.
Take your time, babe.
Wink. And it fizzles out. So yeah, that's what you know.
Well, you seem to have a lot of an opinion on this kind of thing. Is this Is this like some conspiracy bullshit or what? Like,
So,
you think people
true
talk about this?
story. Oh, yeah, people talk about this shit. Yeah, like, okay, so
Like crazy people?
am I crazy? Don't answer that.
Your
Don't
agent
answer.
pops back up and says, the highest percentage of hits on the term natural psionics come in association with a criminal organization known as the Witnesses of Tenrika K. They are a hacktivist and information terrorist organization condemned by the UN and the Psi Orders for leaking classified and controversial and damaging information. And they believe that the Psi Orders and the UN and the Aeon Trinity are hiding natural psionics from the greater population.
Yeah, you see me kind of zone. I imagine this is all
Yeah, you can have it
internal.
fed into
Yeah,
like an earpiece
yeah,
or something like that.
exactly. So you kind of see me zone out for a second, and I'm talking with with my agent, but like now, Frankie, I know you get into some. I know you by nature of your birth, you're kind of into some criminal organizations, but are you in another one you
Rude.
haven't told me about yet?
Why do you ask?
Well, it seems like a quick cursory perusal of the opnet about natural psionics is that seems to be the kind of people who are interested in that kind of thing.
You want
No, I want you to help me figure out what the hell this is and how bad it is.
then fuck yeah, I'm into that shit.
Like, read about it into it, or like know people and go to meetings and stuff.
We don't have pass cards if that's what you're asking. But yeah, I got some contacts.
Well,
I can pull on my contacts and see if I can get a bit more information. I haven't been able to really, get my hands on anything concrete yet, but it's been passed around for a while in our circle. We've been trying to figure it out because we just, the idea had to come from somewhere, right? Psionics and all that jazz.
uh, yeah, I guess.
I mean, people didn't just come up with it on their own.
I mean, I thought
So while you're having this conversation, Frankie, your biocomp, your mini comp starts to vibrate and tinkle and have a little flash of a message coming in.
She'll glance at it.
You glance at it and you see like the pop up that says it basically says like encrypted message. Please enter in credentials, and from what you know of, this means that you are getting a message from your contacts.
She kind of like looks at her phone and she looks over. She goes, "Well, speak of the devil and he shall appear." And she just starts entering in her contacts, her credentials.
Yeah, you put in a couple biometrics, enter in a password, and you receive a message from Tenrika K. And I have sent that message to you, and I will let you react to that message. And if you want to know what the content of that message is, listeners, then you should sign up for patreon.com/Simulacra Studios, because I'll be posting it there.
All right. Yeah, as I pull it back up and reread what I read earlier.
But while she's reading that, Hannah, if you would give me a psi plus your highest mode.
One success.
One success.
I was
you
actually, I was about to
feel
say.
something kind of swimming around you. Like there is a note in the air or a smell that wasn't there before. Like it's something is like sort of like synesthesia dancing across your senses, and it's like when it's a note, it's like a high violin note. When it's a smell, it's a cloyingly sweet smell. When it's a sensation, it's a sensation of pressure that just sort of washes across this new sense that you have.
I'm going to try using my sorry, but my clairsentience. I think I had the psychocognition one.
Hmm.
Um, to understand how I should feel about this particular input on this sense. Is this a scary thing? Is this a pleasant sense?
Um,
Like, or at least
I'll roll
combine my
that in with
alertness with my own intuition.
I will roll that in. This is you definitely think that this is, if anything, you're receiving some sort of warning. Something is urging caution. You're not exactly sure what or what it means. It doesn't feel, whatever it is, it doesn't feel like the urgent caution of someone's about to shoot you, but it does seem like there's something wrong going on. There's something in the air. There's a danger. There's a trap you're about to step into, or something is about to negatively affect you in some way.
I'm I'm just watching Frankie intently as she takes this message then, because that's the only new thing that's happened.
Um, so the names on so would my character know some of the names that are mentioned in this communique?
You absolutely would know some of the names. You would know the name of General Larson. She's the leader of the Psychokinesis Order, the Legion, which is a branch of the United Nations military. The other name that's mentioned in that, you would have to, if you want to make a humanities roll on that, you may see if you're familiar with it.
Sure.
Or culture. Humanities or culture.
Oh boy. Oh boy. All right. Culture. Because I don't have humanities.
Mm-hmm.
Sure. I guess I'm going to be doing, I'll do intellect.
Sure.
Not my best roll, but it's a roll. And it's 8s or up.
8s or up, yeah.
Right,
Sadly, you are not a Nova.
Mm-hmm.
I am no Nova. Just one.
Just one success. You recognize it in that it's a name that you've heard on the news from time to time, but you can't place exactly where they are. You definitely think that they're, given the context of the message, you think that, yeah, you think you've heard that name in relation to the Aeon Trinity, but you couldn't tell who. But you definitely recognize the name of Slovig Larson.
Gotcha. She's kind of looks at her phone for a minute, and she's kind of like, interesting.
Yeah. Well, I got. So what'd they say?
Well, basically that that there's some mentioning of some proxy benefactors. So, but the thing is that you know the people who created the Promethean chambers or Prometheus chambers or whatever they're called, chambers.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. See, they've never even talked about benefactors before. So apparently something happened here on Luna, but we have no idea as to what.
Huh. Well, I don't know what to do with that. Or what to do now, really.
I mean, I'd poke you, but you'd probably poke me back.
I mean,
I will say that it is, in fact, it is very much getting very late. You guys are probably feeling the sort of the wave of exhaustion from not only a day but a very intense concert and personal experience. And it is beginning to be morning, so the sounds of people around you, the machinery of warehouses and other things coming on is letting you know it's very, very late for the two of you.
Well,
Well,
I guess it should be nap time, I suppose. Are we snuggling? Do you want to snuggle?
yeah, I do.
She'll
Night
come
night.
over and she just like, uh, Frankie has like these obnoxious, like white and pink, like bunny rabbit, like pajamas that's like a onesie and it has like feeties on it. And she like definitely like comes over and just like snuggles up to you. Like she doesn't care if she's the big spoon, the little spoon, or just someone literally clinging to your back. But she snuggles.
All right.
I will. Yep. I'll take some anti-anxiety medication and pass out immediately in my clothes.
Absolutely. Yeah, the meds work as they always do. They're very good meds. They're super sci-fi meds. Um,
I just want them to put me asleep, not keep me asleep,
yeah. I mean,
in case
you
something scary happens.
like you know, your thought goes by. You take these meds, which are provided to you by the Luna government. You know, there is universal health care, and you kind of you take them and you think about like, yeah, you do know that you could probably go to a clinic. And like get in line. You might very well be like waiting for an appointment with a Vitakinetic to actually like cure your mental illness, your anxiety issues. But you know, those are very rare people who can do that. But for the time being, you get these meds provided to you, and they're very effective. But yeah, so you guys basically turn down the environmentals. Put the noise blocking features of this particular apartment on, so the outside world kind of fades away. Lights go
I move
down.
so Frankie's between me and the door.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Frankie's super protective.
And you guys get some sleep, and then probably late morning, early afternoon, the two of you wake up. And what's on the agenda for today?
Well,
You're
I'm
feeling a lot more refreshed, a lot better. It seems to be a new day, and a night of sleep has done you both very good.
I'll probably like be making us some food by the time you get out of bed.
Uh, yeah,
Yeah.
Frankie's not a morning person.
So
She
getting
kind of like sits up.
Yeah, getting food is an interesting proposition because there's a couple of ways that you can do this in modern day. A lot of things like one of the biggest features of any modern home is a maker or a 3D, basically a very advanced 3D printer. And part of living on Luna is every week or so you can go and get your slab of vegetable protein, vegetable matter, animal protein. Like they're in these big like biomembrane slabs that you feed into the maker, and then it can like print you up either like a fully combined meal, or it can print you up ingredients. Or you can like go to the hydroponic garden and get like actual cucumbers and carrots and whatnot. There's not really livestock on the moon. Um, there is some, but it's nowhere near where you are now because that is a huge use of water and resources and land to actually have living animals that's slaughtered. But for now, you can get like basically lab grown slabs of protein and other nutrient materials that can get recombined in your maker, or you can actually cook something up. So what is Hannah making? How is she going about
I
making
have
breakfast?
the maker make me some things, some ingredients for making vegan omelets.
Cool. And it
Like,
absolutely
I
does.
know you could just make me the omelet, but
Hmm.
I feel like cooking.
Yeah, you basically get it to portion out, some soy protein that's reconfigured into an egg like thing, and it's all almost real but not quite, but good enough for baseball.
I
Uh,
probably don't know the difference
yeah, probably you don't.
because
It's probably very
always been on
rare
the
that you've
moon.
had a real egg or a real anything like that. Vegetables, yes, you've had real vegetables because there are hydroponics and community gardens.
Yeah,
Um,
I actually probably do have some vegetables from a community garden. I imagine that's probably a thing I do in my spare time.
but yeah, actual like animal protein, that was once living. Pretty rare here. So yeah, what about so Frankie's just kind of flumping in the morning?
I,
Oh yeah.
yeah, if you like, because as you like get off the poof or whatever we're sleeping on, just hand you a plate.
Yeah.
Mm.
And like the poof,
How do
like
you eat this early in the morning?
I've been up for like 3 hours. So anyway, now that it's a little less scary, want to help me figure out what this stuff does? What this does?
Sure.
Well, how do
okay.
we do that?
All right. So you do have, although, so the good thing about psionics, particularly like the more mental stuff, is that it's very intuitive. You don't have to struggle too hard to figure out what it is that you can do or how you can do it. So, uh, you have your various modes and your various aptitudes. So, what power would you like to try and use?
Um, I probably, because I like to garden, I'm probably going to. I don't think any of the Vitaconix I have is specifically like good for that, but I'm gonna try to like mess with a plant I have with they're weird words.
Okay. Uh,
Sorry, the fixing thing,
oh, so you're gonna try use
encouraging things to heal one.
you're gonna try and use vitakinesis on a plant. Interesting.
Yeah, I
Uh,
picked a pepper off of the one in my pot, and I'm gonna try to encourage it to heal from where I picked it.
okay. Cool. All right.
I will use Latrosis.
Okay, you're gonna use atrocis. That's cool. Let me look up that. And what dot level do you have in that?
2.
2. Okay, interesting.
Let's
Let's
see.
see what we can do with that. So you have accelerate. Okay, interesting.
Yep.
Um,
So I can't make it like automatically fix it, grow
no,
a new
you can't.
pepper, but I'm not there yet.
Yeah, go ahead and you go ahead and roll your psi plus your iatrosis mode dots.
It's 2 successes.
Okay. Yeah, so you pick it up and you're looking at it, and you're sort of focusing it on your um, with this inherent sense that you have, known as the Carillion eye, although you may or may not know the term for it, your sort of sense of health and well-being. And it doesn't grow back, but you see sort of the natural forces of like decay and entropy that are already starting from you having picked the pepper, just sort of slow down, and the waning life force in it seems to cling a little bit harder to the pepper than it normally does. It's very hard to like have an appreciable sense. You more understand it on an intuitive level that you've put decay off for a few moments more on this particular pepper.
I think about that for a sec. You see me considering my pepper. Hey, Frankie, you feeling a little hungover?
I mean, not really. I'm just tired. Why?
Can I try something?
What do you want to try? You gonna read my mind or something?
I don't think I want to do that. Um, I got enough to worry about as it is.
Can you bend
No,
spoons?
uh, I will try to bend a spoon and fail at it.
Yeah, it doesn't do.
Nope, don't think I got that one. But I helped my plant feel better from where I heard it.
Like,
Point over it.
feel better?
Oh,
Wait, can you like heal people?
I mean, maybe.
Oh, that's so cool. Frankie immediately walks over and grabs a knife from your kitchen and literally cuts her palm.
Whoa, 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 whoa! I'm like, no. Oh, all right, all right.
So do it. Do it. I mean, it's fine. It's just a bit of blood. It's cool. We've had worse on each other.
Yeah.
So you definitely like looking at the injury and like your sense of life and injury and harm and well-being just sort of flares up. Like you see the sparking of pain and injury and blood just sort of well up and flare around Frankie. And you sort of instinctively like you can do something about that. Like you don't really have a grasp on what it is, but you feel inside of you something something that is connected to health and well-being, and on the inverse, injury and malady, to sort of reach out and want to do something about it.
I'll
Uh,
try to activate the relief power.
okay, you can definitely do that. You can also attempt to push your power to
Yeah.
use the actual mending mode dot. What that
Yes.
means is basically you can try and use powers above what you've bought.
Mm-hmm.
It is an additional difficulty and it costs an additional psi. So it is one psi and one difficulty for every level of difference between the level that you have and the power you're trying to use.
I think it's just one extra level for
Yeah.
me. Actually, mending is 3, so
hmm
yeah. But is it still the same dice
Yeah,
roll?
it is still the same dice roll.
That is 2 successes.
2 successes. So yeah, I mean it's a very small cut. So you just sort of reach out, and that instinct to heal and to make pain and injury go away, like it happens. It's like you feel there's an effort to it. There's a gap between desire and intention and capability, but through will and focus, you overcome that gap, and energy flows from you into Frankie over her hand, and the wound seals up as though it was never there. The only evidence is a little bit of blood on her hand.
All
Dude,
right. Well, that seems handy.
dude,
All right.
dude.
Dude, indeed.
That is so cool. I'm so jealous. Why didn't I get cool powers?
If you can figure out how to extract them, you're welcome to them. But
You're not excited?
no, I'm very excited. That's very cool, and I'm very happy to be able to do that. I'm just a little, little on my back foot here as far as trying to figure out. Is there anything I'm supposed to do about this besides continue what we're up to?
Clearly not go to any of the big psi places.
Well, yeah,
Like they
I
will
want family to
they will
find me,
try to shut you down and
and
like
that.
black bag you. So if you want, I can reach out to some of my contacts in that organization I might be affiliated with. Um, if you want, I can reach out to them. They might be able to help you a little bit more.
I do. Well, I'm going to try once again to have a think about that uh, with this psychocognition. I'm
Okay,
not sure exactly how that works as far as determining danger. Just that
so you
see what I need
you
to,
you
with
focus
alertness.
on
Yeah.
you focus on that sense of like time
Hmm.
and possibilities, and once again it's intuitive. You know that this power can do that, that it can reach into the future, but you feel like the gap between where you are now in terms of your grasp of this ability and how advanced that particular ability is pretty wide. um, Let me just double check, because what's your dot rating in
Oh, it's 1. I
it's
have
one.
alertness.
Okay, you
The
have alertness. Yeah,
psychocognition alertness. Yeah.
like you definitely have like a general sense of like if you wanted to get that's a very here and now kind of power.
Right. Gotcha.
That is a power that helps you when things are happening. It doesn't do much for the near future. Give me a humanities roll.
Okay. I'm gonna use cunning this time.
Sure.
Sweet.
If you want to use your if you want to use your mini comp, you can use its enhancement rating if you want to, like, because this is like looking stuff up
Yes.
and that sort of thing. So you can use that to give you enhancement on the roll.
Yeah. Let me. Come on, character sheet. I think it was 1. So that would give me 5 successes total, including the 1 enhancement.
Nice. Okay. So 5 successes. So yeah, you focus on yourself. You do a quick search with your agent and on the OpNet, and it is sort of the obvious answer. is that the best place to find out how to use these powers and how to focus them is the Psi Orders, particularly the ISRA, the Interplanetary School for Research and Advancement. Now, I will say that besides perhaps the Asclepians, the Viticanidis disorder, the ISRA has one of the most stellar reputations for a positive force in the universe. Like these are like these are the goodest of good guys. They help in so many different ways. And like they are known to be just like these totally welcoming, helpful, and if you're struggling to find your place in the universe, they can literally just look that up and help you and guide you to it, kind of thing. But you dig a little deeper into their public information, and you find about a practice called Dakir, which is apparently some sort of clairsentient technique that they use to use their clairsentient in a more general way to do the sort of things that you want to do, to sort of focus and seek through the tides of noetic destiny to filter out information. And there's a class on it that they offer for it because there's like, even though this is most useful for scions, neutrals can benefit from these meditations and cognitive processes in many ways. So you could just go to a class that the ISRA offers, but that's going to an ISRA chapter house and talking with people, and who knows what they'll be able to tell about you.
I do remember that the scions we met the night before didn't seem to notice what I was.
Wait,
Well,
wait.
what?
Were you the disturbance?
Maybe. That would make a lot of sense, I guess. I didn't mean to be.
Of course, no one means to be. Well, I mean to be a disturbance all the time, but like, I'm just saying. Of course, you didn't mean to be. Like, this just happened last night, though. The timeline lines up.
The disturbance
So
that they saw in
cool.
the bar, or whatever it is you saw, whatever it was you got a message about.
Oh, no. The message thing
Yeah.
is talking about like benefactors and
Benefactors, right.
proxies and like what really happened to make these proxies and all that jazz. Proxies, I assume, are what now, Scott?
Proxies are the leaders of the Psi Orders. They are incredibly powerful scions who a lot of them create, like, according to the public knowledge, they created the Prometheus tanks and started the process of triggering people into the Psi Orders and creating scions, for lack of a better term. And they are the most prominent, powerful, and influential scions in human space.
Huh. Okay, then.
Yep.
Well, I'm going to relook at that message.
Yeah, I guess I could probably go to the local IRSA chapter and take a class, but not sure how much I want to uh, risk somebody noticing me. So yeah, maybe some of your contacts would be the best way to go.
Hannah, give me an integrity roll.
Yeah. That's where I'm a Viking. That is 4 successes.
So you think back to last night about like the moment when it happened, when everything changed and these new senses opened up, and you felt that weird sense around the biotech and the scions and the everything going on. And you recall that something happened instinctually for you, in a response to this like feeling of anxiety and unease. You did something subconsciously. You sort of step back into yourself for a moment and re-examine that, and you realize that that's a thing you can do. That is one of the sort of the very low level capabilities, and you with those 4 successes, you understand the basics of your cycloak power.
Yeah, so yeah, I think I can make myself go unnoticed even by other people with this kind of power, with this kind of ability. So
Oh,
I think I might see about signing up for some community college classes and this kind of thing. Though your contacts, how much are they likely to get a little grabby about this thing? 'Cause you said they've been wanting to find it or find out people like me.
honestly, I don't know. I mean, just to be frank with you, I mean, you're literally talking about something that they've been whispering about since I've known them and
Well,
known of them. But what I will say though is they're not going to want to hurt you. They're not going to want to shut you up. They're going to want to show you off.
the school it is then. I don't want to be shown off.
I mean, I get that and all. Are you going to go by yourself?
No, you can come with. It's offered to neutrals. We'll just say we're curious. I want you to come with me because in case we have to leave in a hurry. And also, I don't want to go by myself. Please come with me, friend.
Yeah, you look up on the sort of the public information. There is a there are a couple of chapter houses in Olympus. You know that the Luna is the sort of the home base of the ISRA. Like this is there are more ISRA here and in general, like and more ISRA presence on the moon than there is anywhere else. This is their headquarters. So you know that there's like there's rumors of like their secret bases somewhere on the moon, but they also have like very public and open chapter houses. Uh, um, there's a big one in Olympus proper, like up in Upside, but there are smaller ones in sort of more far-flung ones. So probably the closest one would be the one in Upside. Um, but you can very easily get there through public transportation. You look up and you see that the next like open class for this sort of thing is tonight, this evening. There's like a big public. They basically have like a uh, publicly provided dinner, and then there are a number of classes that lead from, and one of them is this Dakir technique.
I
Sounds like
tell
a
you,
great way to get someone's contact information and keep tabs on them.
we'll give them fake information.
Fine. I want you to know you're making me go to college.
I'm making you go to like a free thing at college where you can fill your pockets up with their better food than what I can make. We can get
I
drunk
like
before.
your food.
Me too.
No,
Thanks.
that's going to defeat the whole purpose of you trying to learn a technique from them. I'll be
Yeah, I
sober, just maybe there's some hot guys there or girls. Ooh, co-eds.
Now, when I say school, it's less of like a college and more like a religious organization.
yeah.
It's not
It sounded like you were describing Christian Fellowship. Like,
a little bit, yeah.
Yeah, nah.
well, unless you got some better suggestions,
Uh, okay, but if uh, gross, fine.
will just be really off-putting. I
I'm
think you can
old.
do that. I know it's hard. No, come on, you can do better. Show me your off-putting face. Yeah, yeah, there you go.
Fine. But I want you to know that I'm doing this only because you're my bestie.
I was exploiting that. Yes, thank you. I give you a hug.
She hugs her back.
Well,
I want you to also know that's why I haven't said anything yet. Because honestly, I want you to know if I were to say anything about you right now to my peeps, that would get me so much cred and go up so quick in that organization. But I love you, girl, so I'm not gonna. But I
I
want you to know that I wanna, but I'm not
I
gonna.
appreciate that. Tell you what, we'll figure we'll go to this thing tonight and see how it goes. And if I can figure out how much I need to, I'll take it under consideration to meet with your peeps, as you put it.
I appreciate that, but I also want you to know I'm not pressuring you. Like,
Understood.
you're one of my group, you know. I look out for my peeps.
I pat you awkwardly on the shoulder.
She gives you a big over the top kiss on the cheek.
Well, we got some time. We could either go check out the Golden Nugget Inn, but I kind of would like to go with all of us, or go shopping.
Yeah, I'm pretty broke. So maybe not shopping so much as let's go scope out the place so we at least have a backup plan and an escape route if things go tits up at the college.
See, that's why I need you with me. This kind of logistical thinking. As I'm grabbing my keys and walking toward the door.
Okay, yeah, you get your keys and your passcode. Like a lot of stuff that we consider like wallet, keys, phone
Sure.
thing. A lot of it is through your mini comp.
Yeah.
Like it is truly that thing that we all really want is that one device that of course we can then lose and then not be able to get in our house. Kind of thing.
Mine's embedded in me, thank you.
Indeed. But yeah, so a lot
very
of
great.
that is filtered through the mini comp. But yeah,
I grabbed my
so
glasses and or my hat and walked toward the door.
indeed. Glasses, another thing that you could get fixed.
No.
Like
Frankie
Oh, that's just me.
yeah.
specifically is in one of her more outlandish outfits, mostly because she wants to now and she wants to be the center of attention because it takes attention off Hannah. So she is prepping to basically be the look at me while Hannah gets away,
Gotcha.
if need be. So she is definitely in like red plaid mini skirt, like the traditional goth like platform shoes, very revealing outfit that she can totally rock. She does have striking looks. So
Gotcha. Yeah. So as you're like getting ready, you're putting your glasses on, like thinking about this stuff. Hannah, you feel that feeling of potential inside of you, and like specifically when you put on the glasses, and like you feel forces moving inside of you and you realize, oh, I could just fix myself. Like it's not quite there. Like you don't feel like again that gap between
Mhm.
potential and capability is there, but you sense that is a capability. You can
No more waiting
adjust your
list.
eye, readjust your eyes. You can screw with your brain chemistry. You can the potential of what you can do is a sort of this rolling awareness in the back of your mind.
You see me kind of like just looking thoughtful and but I don't like say that out loud yet. But
And with the caveat of then oh, and I can also do that to others. But yeah, so you guys head to the Silver Nugget, the place on the flyer that you got last night.
no,
is that no? We were going to go scope out the actual place for the
meeting.
meeting will
Oh,
be.
okay. Oh, so you were going to so you're
See
going
what the place looks like and the people around there look
okay,
like.
so you're going to the ISRA chapter house.
Yep.
Okay,
Yes, we're gonna go scope it out
I heard you guys talking about the bank.
I had mentioned that as a possibility.
Right.
But
Okay. Yeah. No, you can totally go. You basically guys head to the public transit area. You wait for the car. Maglev train shows up, and it's all very like algorithmically like SI oriented of like, you basically enter in where you want to go, and like the car like filters people. It basically directs you. Once you get into the car, it says you get like a notification on your mini comp that says like, please proceed to this car, and it will split off in the next 5 minutes to redirect you to the trout. So like it's a train of cars, but they're constantly like separating and redirecting themselves so that it efficiently sorts people to where they're going.
So have you ever thought about doing a double date? I mean, I could find you someone.
I already got someone, but I don't know. What do you want to do? You seem to do fine without me along.
Have you been hiding someone from me and just not telling me?
No, no. No,
Yes?
I mean, I'm always with my agent. I don't know. Romance is more your department.
Are you romantic with your agent? I mean,
Uh,
no judgment if you are. I just want to know.
uh, more like conjoined twins, I guess. Not,
Well,
not a
then
lot of
why
room
not
further.
go on
Not,
a
not.
double date?
Well, yeah, all right. Find me someone low key, I guess. But not too low key. I don't want to be totally boring.
Girl, you're
I like
not
brown
boring.
eyes.
You like brown eyes. Okay. I will keep an eye out.
You
You
know
know,
from previous conversations, Hannah's like, clearly, I've had sex, totally. Like just very clueless about human relationships of that nature. Of romance.
So I totally know some people that work for my dad that are totally cool.
Oh, I love the idea of a boyfriend who always gives me stolen stuff.
I mean, you never have to worry about where it came from, right?
I would think I'd always have to worry about it, but I guess that would mean they weren't spending money on me, and that's kind of freeing.
Just saying. I'll put my feelers out and see. I mean, I did miss my like date opportunity last night, so
Well, I'm sorry I put a hamper in your plans with my startling personal revelations.
look, I'm not complaining at you about
You just did.
No, I'm not complaining about us having to go through this because it's totally way more fascinating. I'm just saying that like normally I'm used to certain attention and I didn't get my attention last night. So I'll get it today. Maybe I can
I'll
correct
wingman
one of our
for you.
little choir boys.
So the
That's
train breaches the surface of the moon, and it starts to sort of curve around, and you see the glistening upside version of Olympus, many domes and spires, all threaded together with these tubular maglev train systems. And you just sort of been just spiral around to the outskirts of the Upside District. And eventually the system routes you to the area where the one of the main ISRA chapter houses are. It is under its own specific dome. So it is not directly connected to like the mezzanine or anything, but it's very easy to get to. It's very open, and it is a small domed area. A lot of open like garden areas, like hydroponic garden areas, with lots of like walking paths. There's a central structure that's like 3 stories high, but kind of wide and very spread out, and a couple dozen ancillary buildings dotted out throughout this landscape. Uh, and there seems to be, a couple hundred people seem to be just sort of milling around, walking along the paths, tending to the gardens. Um, it seems to be a pretty open and available space. There's a basic sort of like security check-in when you guys get off the train, but it's not very intrusive. Like they don't ask for your information or anything. They just kind of like ask you to step through a scanner that picks up weapons or anything like that. Uh,
Yeah, I've activated the cyclope well before we got
okay,
here.
so you have your cycloak. How
Yep.
how large are you locked down?
What
Because
do you mean?
because you can set, but you can be like,
Oh, okay.
do you just want yourself to look like a neutral?
Yep.
All right, so yeah, that
I'm just some guy.
you're just some guy. So you have sort of you've sort of regressed yourself back to a couple of nights ago and reset your side. So yeah, you for as far as you know, you have set yourself to being imperceptible as anything other than a neutral.
So before we come in here, I just want to remind you that like my dad doesn't have sway here, so if we get in trouble, we're gonna totally have to be able to get ourselves out of it.
I mean, I'm not planning on starting a fight with anyone. Hopefully.
Boring. Well, the
After
point is to
class,
get
we
them
can go start a fight at a bar, all right?
fine.
Yeah, so there's, like I said, there's a couple hundred people just sort of around, doing various tasks. Like I said, tending to the garden. Like there's a small area that has like people doing some what looks like a small self defense class. Um, there is a area sort of little off the ways as you guys are scoping this place out, a little off the ways that has like a weird separation that has like telescopes and like devices that are pointed towards the sky that have outputs so that people can sort of examine places out in space. Um, there is kind of this rotating thing that gives like as the it's a sort of a rotating platform that gives like the best view of Earth at all times. And yeah, it's there's not a lot of organized activity going on. The people who are here just seem to be here and are doing things of their own volition. There you don't see like tour guides or people, giving orders for anything. It just seems to be a very open ad hoc collective.
I I look around to see if I see like a table with some pamphlets or a reading room. So you think you might be psychic?
Yeah, you can absolutely find that. There's uh you are sort of directed, like your agent picks up on sort of the local network, and you are directed to, a reading room, testing center that will test people for latency if they want, and has documentation on psionics and the nature of the universe. There's a lot of like pamphlets and like basically there's like physical books and there's sort of like a local link that basically you can draw from their library through your mini comp. Um, and yeah, there's a lot of resources for that.
I will ask my agent to look up things. I kind of will just give a few, like, I'll guess some keywords based on what I know so far. I mean, I know what vitakinetics are, so I'll
Hmm.
ask her to look up information on that for that they have for new people or for people who are uh, joining their organization, and also the clairsentient stuff I'm a little more probably don't really know as much about
Hmm.
because I wouldn't
Yeah,
really keep in contact with that.
your agent starts to just draw down all of this information. Um, that it's stuff
That's
that
good.
would probably take some digging if you were just on the
Yeah.
main opnet, but it's freely available here. It's just it's sort of a point of access.
And also, can you check on like the wider opnet to see if this place might be a cult?
Do you have to ask that question?
No, no, I don't say that out loud. I probably like have a way to mumble to, do like sub vocalization to talk to her. But though I guess if we're standing really close, you might still hear me. Like, I mean, I just want to hear if there's any like horror stories that other people like. Yeah, obviously it's kind of a cult, but you know, is it like
Clearly,
one of
the
those
goody
scary ones
two.
on old Earth that wouldn't let you leave, or more just like one that tries to tell you what to do all the time?
All I'm saying is, look, you mean to tell me that the goody two shoes organization that's just out here offering free stuff everywhere and totally looks wholesome and pure and the epitome of we live in the sunny side.
Frankie, have you ever tried to charge cover for one of your shows? I'm just saying we might not be the only people who we're not the only collectives in town.
I'm just saying I don't trust them. They
Yeah,
look
me
too
either.
wholesome. That usually means they're hiding shit.
Who isn't?
Yeah, I mean, you have your agent. It's drawing down all of this information,
Yep.
and you look up like it's ISRA occult or troubling stories. Um,
Yeah. I sorry, horror stories. Why I left that.
um, you get the most. Give me a humanities roll
Sure.
with your biocomp as your mini comp as an
Okay.
enhancement.
2 tens. No more. 3 plus the one from the biocom, so 4.
So you get looking for the horror stories gives you a mixed bag of results. The most of them are sourced from the FSA. How can we trust these people? What do they know? Are they watching you? Like what about privacy? Like how can we trust an organization that can spy on us and we can't spy on them? It's a lot of that. You kind of swipe past that. It is there's a grain of like, yeah, they do have a lot of power and they can surveil pretty much anything anywhere. But this is clearly through a
Yeah,
lens
but
of propaganda. And you get through sort of the more personal stories of like there's this can people leave, and you get a couple of personal stories of like, yeah, I wanted to leave the ISRA. I gave my intentions to leave, and they didn't have any problem with it. They absolutely understood, but at the same time, I still keep running into them, and they always seem to be whenever I need help or whenever things are going wrong. It's never hard to find one of them very close by. Uh, but
is it ominous or wholesome? I
is it?
don't
Yeah,
know.
exactly. And there's a lot of people who are all like, yeah, they helped me, but I wasn't asking for help. They just showed up and yeah, sure, it probably saved my life that they did that. But I didn't want them to be in my sphere of influence. But and like they keep probing. Like this one guy who's like kind of paranoid against being about psi powers in general. It's like I get a call from them every other month to come in for further testing, and hey, maybe if the ISRA isn't right for you, you might be good in the Norsa. Like they're really pushing me to get triggered in the Prometheus chamber, and I just don't want to. So
I will. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
so yeah, it is kind of hard to determine like is this nefarious or is this just the nature of them being what they are, and having good intentions but being a
Yeah.
little overbearing and a little creepy with the fact that they seem to know everything about anyone.
I mean, I do show Frankie some of them. Most of the complaints look like they're FSA complaints, so
Means they can't be all
they're
bad.
worth a wad of shit. Exactly. As we're walking
Do you
past,
think I have latency, Hannah? Do you
I
think
was about to ask you if you ever got tested. You could do it
No.
right now. Maybe we can meet somebody in line.
Hmm. It would be a great way to be able to have information about this place.
Yeah. Why don't we, Why don't you get tested? I'm obviously going to refrain.
Yeah,
Okay.
I think I could trick it.
there is a
Sorry.
short line because there are people here who are getting latency tested, but you can put your name in and get tested if you want.
Sure. She will take one for the team and be the point of contact for this place. And
Well,
get tested. And like she really wants to have latency powers. So like I don't know if there's something she can use to influence it, but she totally is.
Um, Unfortunately, you are a talent, and out of play, I will let you know that shuts you off from being psychically latent. But you could, I will say, if you want to throw some dramatic editing to make some things interesting as a part of this latency, I could see some interesting results show up.
Sure. How does one do that?
So basically, like in this instance, I would say you would spend one inspiration to say that like there's an anomalous reading or something in like it won't read that you're latent, but you can basically say it'll pick something up, and
Sure.
it'll attract some attention.
Yes. Perfect.
Okay, so about 15 minutes later, your name comes up on the queue, and there is a sort of a little out of the way testing zone where they hook you up to a biomonitor. And they run a basic test. There's it takes a small like pinprick blood sample and runs through the process. and it runs through the
If they
process a
put
couple.
me through CODIS and they get a hit back, then I'm a criminal. It's not my fault.
There doesn't seem to be anything like that. This is a medical procedure. And they're not at this point. They're not like getting personal information. Like there's an opportunity to put in personal information, but they do not make you do it.
Nah.
But like, yeah, the test runs a couple of times. This is an automated procedure. There's like an attendant who is monitoring like 5 other stations, and like you're sitting in the testing center and you're seeing people go by and coming in, and like by the time you've seen three different people go into the testing center in the time that you've been in this one, something seems to be a little off, and eventually someone comes into the station and says, "Hello, miss. I think we're going to stop the procedure now. We're getting some anomalous reading. It does not look like we're detecting latency, but there are some interesting readings that we're getting. Would you mind coming with me, and we'll have a little conversation and maybe look a little bit into your destiny and see what these readings might mean?"
Sure. As long as my partner can come.
They look over to you and says like, "Oh, absolutely. Were you interested in testing today, or
Oh,
are you
I've
just here
already been tested, unfortunately, but here supporting my friend.
Excellent. Of course you can come along. Absolutely. Nothing informal, and it's very informal. It's just something that we go, come with me, please.
And while we're doing this, I want to activate the site, the basic clairsentient power.
Okay. Yeah, give me a psi plus clairsentience roll.
One success.
Yeah, you pick up this person clearly detects as a scion, um, uh, and is primary mode clairsentient.
It is very obvious
my
to everyone the moment that they say that they're not picking up any latency. And Frankie, it like hits her in her chest. She does not take that well, but she just kind of smiles through it.
Anyway, so they lead you off to another building. It's a very sort of like, it's kind of like an office building, but not like cubicles or anything. It's just like it's like a dozen or so little conversation pit areas, and they lead you into one of these open office areas and lead you to some couches and says, "Yeah, we just picked up some things that indicate that you might have an interesting future, and with your consent, I'd like to focus and maybe see if we can determine anything that might be helpful for you, that might be a way of guiding you towards a good future."
She kind of glances over at Hannah and then kind of looks back at the woman. She's like, sure, I guess.
Sure thing. Great. Excellent. Just sit there. I might give you some prompts here and there, but this is mostly a thing that I'm going to be doing internally. I just wanted to get away from the crowd so that we have a clearer picture. And she begins to sort of focus. She sort of hums to herself a little bit. You can tell she's like doing like some mnemonic tricks to sort of get her into a headspace.
Yeah, I'm watching her very closely this whole time to try to.
Yeah, you're picking up
Understand her
some
deal.
things. Yeah, and she just sort of focuses for a good while and says, "Now I noticed that you didn't enter in your personal information, and that's totally fine. You don't have to tell me who you are or anything like that. But is there something I can refer to you by?"
Valentine.
Valentine.
My
Fantastic.
stage name.
Ah, excellent. Oh, you're a performer.
Yes.
Good. That explains some of the bright lights and cheering noises that I heard. But yes, no. So you definitely have a special trajectory, as far as I can tell you. There are great things ahead of you, but it's kind of strange, actually. your potential is so vast. It's like you could do anything you want. Um,
You hear me mutter, "All right, mom."
and she's just like, I'm not being s- I'm not being facetious here. I'm not patronizing either of you.
I apologize.
No, no, it's understandable. It's fantastic. I get their direction quite a lot. Understand, I don't know you. I mean, while I do care for you in a sense that we're all human, we're all connected to the human community. Um, you know, I don't have a vested interest in your life and anything, so I'm not here to patronize you. I'm just saying that most people who we can see a future for uh, have some very clear guideposts, some places where you can go to. Your potential is so wide and breadth that there's not much that I can guide you toward. It's very interesting, actually. All I can say is that you seem to have a wind behind your back, and wherever you want to go, the totality is at your back. And of course, we here at ISRA are here to help in any endeavor that you may wish. We can always point you in a direction if you have like specific goals that you want to discuss or anything. But you have a very interesting future. I think you're going to be someone to watch.
Huh. Not what I expected coming here.
Well, we try to surprise. But anyway, we're going to be having a feast later. You're of course welcome to stay. Uh, I'm sorry that you didn't get the latency results that you wanted, but I think that no matter what happens to you in the future, you're going to live a very interesting life.
Can I ask you a question?
By all means.
How'd you come to work here? What's it like? How'd you come into this path of helping guide others?
I I used to live down on Terra. I lived on the outskirts of Le Bouchoir, of France, the sort of the devastated region there. And it was hard to survive there, but um, a team of Viticanesis from the Esculpian Order came to help my village. And while they were patching up some injuries, one of them told me that they sensed that I was latent and filtered me through some systems. And eventually it was determined that I had a strong clairsentient proclivity. And I was led here to the moon and triggered in their Prometheus chamber. And I've been working with the ISRA ever since. Sort of a happenstance meeting that turned to a new life.
So like, can you see like futures of anybody you look at?
I get a sense of things, yes. I mean, I can focus on people's future. It's very hard to describe the third eye. Um, Senses come in different ways for different people for different situations. Um, we do have techniques for filtering those out, interpreting the visions. I believe we have a class later, which mostly for clairsentience, but neutrals can benefit from the meditations. Of course, you're welcome to attend. Everything's open here.
Okay. That sounds interesting. I think we'll stick around.
Great, great, glad to hear it. Um, in the meantime, she kind of leans back a little bit and says, "We are getting a feast ready. Could I maybe ask the two of you to help in the kitchens to get it ready?"
Yeah, all right, yeah.
Excellent, great. I mean, it's not necessary. We don't ask for donations for our services, but we believe that service and helping out in a mutual way is beneficial for everything. But if you, yeah, um, she
Sure.
she brings up her mini comp and says taps some things and sends you over some directions. Like, this will take you to the kitchens, and I've tagged the two of you uh, for a shift working there, and it would be greatly appreciated.
Pleasure meeting you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
And
you.
she's kind of like, she puts a hand on each of your shoulders and say, "May the totality guide you."
Thank
Nod awkwardly.
you.
Yeah. Well, once we're like, she sure says all those words I like.
Oh boy. You signed me up for kitchen detail. Are you gonna make me clean
I signed me up
dishes?
for kitchen detail. Nah, you don't have. I don't think they're gonna send the cops after you if you ditch out on it. I just thought it might be a good chance
I'm
to
not
observe
gonna leave you
the
alone
inner workings of the
here.
place.
Oh, why do you have to make sense?
One of us has to. Thank you for going through that.
No, it's cool. It's disappointing that I'm not cool, but cool
I
in
mean,
my
I
own
never.
way.
Hey, Scott, Syads don't necessarily show up as latent either if they were tested before, or do they?
It depends.
No, I
Latency.
imagine there might have been, but
Yeah, latency is an interesting thing. You can become latent in the course of your life. You're not necessarily born of it. I mean, if you had been tested before, um, it would very likely detect you as latent, given that you
ah,
have the inherent psychic
yeah,
potential. But it's possible that you could have gotten a false report, or that your latency hadn't developed at the time that you were tested. It's not an exact science.
right. Oh, I mean, well, I'm sorry, Frankie. I mean, you never know what the future may hold, though. She said you have all the
Mm,
potential in the world.
whatever that means.
I think it means she couldn't figure you out. I
Oh
take it as a
boy.
compliment.
Couldn't figure me out, or the fact that my future is going to be so volatile. We can't tell what it is right now.
I've been to parties with you. That seems about right.
Ah, figures. I really don't. Do I have to put my hands in dishwater? They make
Well,
my
look,
hands
tell you
all
what, I'll go.
pruny.
I didn't really answer for both of us, just for me. So why don't
No, I'm
I
gonna
go?
go.
Well, look, we'll try to get you on like onion chopping duty or something.
Ugh,
Make everybody cry.
ugh. Fine, whatever. I'm supposed to be good natured about this anyway. Yes, let's go help people.
All right, so you guys head over to the kitchen area. It's a sort of another sort of it's under a big canopy that's under this dome, and it's a very big open air. There's probably about 50 people here, all working in tandem. People seem to have like stations for doing things, um, and they sort of look at you and filter to you, and they point to you, Valentine, and they say, uh, "If you could go here to the portioning station,
Sure.
great, fantastic." And like you go and you meet up with the person who just like, "All right, each plate gets one ladle of that, one portion of that, piece of this roti. Just put the plates together and put it on the conveyor."
Frankie does this, and in her mind, she's just like, "What has my life come to? I'm in a soup kitchen. My father would kill me right now if he saw me in a soup kitchen." She's like in her head, like, "What am I doing?" But
Uh,
she does it. She's
uh,
like, "What the fuck?"
and Hannah, so the same person sort of looks to you and says, uh, kind of looks at you for a second, squints a little bit, and says, "Come with me." And they lead you over to like these big vats of cooking like lentils and soy, and says, "What I'd like you to do is just every minute or so take a little portion from these cooking pots and just check them for seasoning." And then she looks at she looks over to this big rack of like 100 spices, like in big plastic jugs, and just add what feels right.
All right, can do. Of course, they know I love cooking.
Yeah. So over about the course of about an hour, you guys help with dinner, getting dinner together, and like you're seeing like people are sort of filtering in out in the outer garden area. Plates are starting to get distributed, and it is a big communal dinner. And the people working there work like a well-oiled machine to like get plates out, get plates back, put them in a quick wash cycle. Um, and like you think that they feed maybe about 1,000 people in the course of this like couple hours of dinner. And of course, you guys are given time to step away and get some food in you, and it's very good. Like it's like you like based on the garden, like the capacity of the garden and like the ingredients that you're seeing there. This is mostly like organic, naturally produced food. It is vegetarian in nature, but it is wholesome, filling, and you hear a couple of people say, "Oh, the portions were great," and "Oh, this was seasoned better than last time."
I nod proudly.
Mhm.
I did that. I say to Frankie.
I mean, you did good. I told you you're a good cook. You should listen to me more often.
As long as you're complimenting me, I reckon I will. Well,
Yeah, I mean, it's
so,
everything just seems to run perfectly, and like over 1,000 people get fed.
I mean, this is really great and all. As much as I want to like be really sus of them, I'm still very sus of them. I don't want that to make any, but this is really cool of them.
I have
Sunny
to agree, this
spiders.
is very pleasant.
So yeah, so dinner ends. All the plates. Like, there's not a lot of cleanup because a lot of cleanup happened as a result of sort of the cycling of things. But the final cleanup gets done, and people are starting to. Most of the people leave because this is their big meal. You recognize some people from Downside who kind of came up to do this.
Mm.
There's always been advertisements of every night at 7 p.m. there's a free meal for anyone who comes. So this is the thing that you've known about because they don't hide the fact that they feed people. Um,
Of course not.
but yeah, so that all gets cleaned up, and then eventually you start seeing, as the moon rotates away from the sun, the artificial lights start to come on, and people start going on to different parts of the complex. You get a notification that where the class is going to be.
Yep. Well, I guess it's time.
Yeah.
Boy.
So you guys this actually leads you into the main structure, where it is laid out more like a school than anything else. A bunch of large classrooms. There's obviously like an administrative section, but there's a lot of like classrooms and work areas and like banks of computer like free use computers and other technology. And you guys follow your directions into the class, and it is kind of a very open, kind of circular room that has a lot of different like little poofs that you can sit on.
I look around to see what the other people who are attending, like, are they older? Are they our age? Are they a lot of
It,
different kinds of folks?
it is a mix of people. It is there's not a lot of people in this class. There's maybe about 20 people total here. Um, and you get a sense about half of them, as far as you can tell with your basic psychic senses, you feel them like psychically resonating just as they sort of get closer together and like in the same place. You feel about half of these people must be Scions.
There's so many of them. I whisper over.
Yeah.
I don't know. Well,
What? You getting shy now?
yeah, I don't know. Wasn't really sure what I was expecting. I will ask my agent to record everything that happens.
Yeah, absolutely. She says, I can tap into there's a public camera feed that I can tap into,
Yes,
and I can
please.
record it from that. So,
Yes, thank you.
so an older man comes in eventually, and looks around, like kind of like looks around, sort of acknowledges the people that he clearly knows, and then looks to the other half of the people, nods to some of them that he probably knows a little bit less, until eventually he comes to the two of you and says, "Oh, new faces.
Howdy.
My name is my name is Eric Sean. I am a teacher of this class," and kind of looks at the two of you and says, I don't believe that either of you are amongst the psionically gifted, but of course this class is open to neutrals. By all means, take a seat, and we can begin shortly.
Cool. Thanks.
I find a poof. Bring us to a poof near the back of the room.
And Valentine on the way over is like, man, rub it in that I'm not freaking psychic. Why don't you? Jesus. It's just like,
I'm sorry.
So yeah, so
fine.
So
I'm not jealous.
So there's not a lot of like. You get the sense that this class is not so much like intro to this. This is like more of a workshop than anything. But he does start with, leading into some basic meditation techniques, going into things. And then he sort of like gets into more like exercises. He's like, focus on this. Consider this period of time. Consider the flow of time and probability. Focus on the Esperanza crash that occurred a few years ago. Think on that. Think about that terrible incident of the past and feel how it resonates even still to this day. He just basically like does some like a combination of guided meditation and like prompts of times and locations and events that he at least according to him has some still resonates out through the time of the noetic totality.
I will at first I'll kind of be dividing my attention between trying to follow the meditation stuff and watching the other people in the class, especially the people who I've kind of clocked as clairsentients or at least psionics. But after a while, I'll get into it.
Okay. Yeah, I mean
Unless it's alarming.
Yeah, everyone here seems to like get into the flow pretty quickly. The neutrals are there, like, you definitely like Frankie, you can experience this. Yeah, the meditation techniques are very, very well thought out, very effective if you practice them. But once they start talking about like time flows and significant events and like focusing attentions on things that are not in this particular room and not in this particular time, it's easy to get lost.
Oh yeah, no, Frankie was probably lost 2 steps in, but she's respectful. She's not gonna start causing a scene or leave in the middle of the class. But yeah, she is checked out.
I appreciate your sacrifice.
Like definitely checked out. Probably checking out somebody else's ass. Or just like eye candy. Like you're talking about different times. I'm lost. So she's kind of like the kid, that bad kid in class. They're off task, but they're not being obtrusive about being off task.
Okay, so what I'd like for you to do, Hannah, is to use this ability. This is an ability that is offered up in Prometheus Unbound. What you do is you first roll culture plus composure.
Okay. Three successes.
Okay. And all right, so you have a pool of Decure points, which can be used for various effects. But while you have this pool active, you can roll a Psi plus Integrity roll, and try and focus on the way this works is you give me a question or a thing that you're trying to get more information out of, and I will set the difficulty of this roll based on what question you're asking for.
Well, I'm very concerned. I came here more worried about or more thinking about what all this means for me. I'm kind of beguiled by this place, despite my natural paranoia and Frankie's as well. So I think my first question is gonna be: is this place for real? Are these guys really this nice? Because I really like them.
Okay. Yeah, so you're just asking like, is this legit? Is this a real place?
Yeah. Is this really what this is? Because I'm digging it.
Give me a Psi plus Integrity roll.
All right.
Hey, we have momentum. You should use some.
Yeah. I can use that to give myself extra enhancement.
Yeah.
Is that okay?
Yeah, you give that to give yourself extra dice on a 1-for-1 basis.
Okay. Mind if I give myself an extra die?
Go for it.
You got plenty, and we're about to finish, so.
All right, then I'll give myself 3 extra dice. Yeah, that one's a 10. That is 4 successes total.
Okay. So you focus on this. You focus on the ISRA. Like, how real is it? And you hearken back to your initial experience. Like you find yourself sort of surrounded by the waters of the pools of the Museum Bang Show, and you realize that you are in a great system of water. It is a system that is calm at the center, and um, free and unconstrained. Um, but as you get towards the edge of things, there are people and forces and natural currents that will take you away from the calm center and send you out into where the waters are rougher and where things are more dangerous. And you may or may not come back from those rough waters. But nothing is pushing you out there other than the fact that you get the sensation that there's this system of watching and guidance, and if you allow yourself to immerse into this current, you may find yourself pushed into rougher waters.
Um, Following with that, I think I will ask another question of how will I recognize what kind of forces might be might push me into this kind of danger, or or at least into this kind of turbulence.
Um, yeah, you look and you see, like, you focus back on the center and you see, the people standing on little islands with little paddles and things. And you see people like, you see these like people that are slightly above the water standing on little islands um, that, look out and guide the current and never like push someone directly with a paddle, but shape the current so that they tend to glide in that direction. Um, you think that these are the people who can manipulate the flow, who can see where things are going, and attempt to push things in ways that they might not naturally go.
All right. Um, if I have any more, I guess my last question is like, do I think I'd be able to fight the current if I find myself pushed in such a direction before it's too late? Do I have much control if they decide to try to guide some of the water I happen to be in?
Um, you sort of think about that, and you see someone who's beginning to move out to rougher waters, um, and starting to swim against the current, and trying to come back into the calmer area, and it's a struggle. You see, it's never clear whether or not they're fully able to escape the pull and the tug, but they do fight against it, and there's no one there actively pushing them out to dangerous waters.
All right.
So, the class ends, and you have a basic grasp on this technique, this Dakir. Like you understand its utility. It's obviously a thing. There's a reason why people keep coming back to this class to get a firmer understanding of it. But you think you could do this on your own. You definitely know that like doing this thing that it's better to do this thing in a calm environment. It's better to do
Right.
it when, not when, people are doing a bunch of crazy shit. But you also they also talk about it, about using this Dakir to cancel out distractions is a thing that you can do. But that's a little more, they didn't really go much into that because they didn't specifically teach you that because they didn't know that you were a clinician.
Right.
But yeah, so the class ends. The people just sort of head out. No one seems to be the wiser about why you were there or what you were doing. So you are. No one asks you to leave, but it's clear that there's not any open activities going on currently.
Well,
It's clear it's time to go.
Yeah, it is pretty good. It's time to go.
Let's get out of here, Frankie. Thanks for
Um,
joining me.
so yeah, you guys start to head out, and as you are sort of checking your mini comps, checking your messages, you both see that you get a message from Narwhal, of like you see that you got a couple of messages from Narwhal, like checking in, asking you where you guys are, asking if you've seen Mycelian, and you also notice that you haven't gotten a check-in from Mycelian. Like you don't know where they have gone. There's no check-in from them at all. And clearly Narwhal has tried to get into contact with them and has had no success.
Huh. All right.
Yeah, I guess we should ask Narwhal maybe to meet back at my place, and we can figure out how to get in touch with Mycelian, see what happened to him.
All right.
That's worrying.
So yeah, you send that message out to Narwhal and start heading back to your place. And that is where we're going to end it for this particular session. Hopefully we'll have more of our players next time. But real quick, let's look to the XP. Bring up that page. Advancement page. Did everyone have fun tonight?
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah. Kind of a low-key session just because we didn't have as many people. But hopefully you guys learned some stuff and figured some stuff out.
Thanks for coming to the Scientology Center with me.
Yeah, it's kind of that, but they're a lot less evil than Scientology. Just a lot less evil.
It's cool. Frankie's just the whole time, I'm not special. Damn it.
Oh, you're special.
I'm always supposed to be special. Don't they know who my dad is? I'm supposed to be special.
Okay.
So I definitely got one of my aspirations.
Okay. So did any player achieve their short-term aspirations for their character?
I got one. I got
Okay,
determined Messiah abilities.
Right, so you get one Sciaton. So Frankie, you did not?
Nope.
All right. Anybody achieve a long-term motivation? Okay. And players spent half the available momentum in a single scene. I think you did actually do that. So you both get one. And unfortunately, I don't think we received a story or a milestone XP. So we'll leave it at that. All right. Well, thank you two for playing. Thank you all out there for watching. If you want to check out the show later, it's on the YouTube channel of Simulacra TV. If you'd like to support the show, you can go to patreon.com/Simulacra Studios, where you will see character sheets and notes and tidbits from the game, as well as several other things, and access to our Discord, where you can chat with people. So
like me.
Like the two of them, if you so desire. So, do either of you have anything you'd want to plug before we head out for the evening?
Not yet. I probably will next time we meet, though.
Oh, fantastic. Good to know. All right. Well, we will see everyone in 2 weeks. Thank you for watching.